Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine. Giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Damn, that was loud. I had to turn down the headphones. I'm like going, oh my God, that's loud. It's episode 137. You're with Mike and Blaine of Mike and Blaine. This is Business, Beer, and BS. I'm Mike Mylan, also known as Cashflow Mike. That is my friend and my partner, Blaine Birch of Dry Run. What's up, man?
Oh, man. We were just talking about this before we get on. We're both sprinting. Like Edison, we just because we both deal with accountants a lot and finance pros. It's tax season for them. You think it's slowed down, and somehow we're both like working to the millisecond, I think. So it's been scrambly. We're actually getting going a little bit later today. And this week, again, we got 2 episodes this week because of all the travel we're doing. So yeah, it's good to be on. Good to get going here.
Well, I mean, that's just it. You're like going, oh, this is my slow time of year, right? All the accountants are busy. They're out there doing their thing. Yeah. Now, you know what I do? I pile on projects. I'm like going, oh, I'm going to have extra time. Well, fuck that. Apparently I don't have extra time. I don't have extra time for anything. You know, and I made it worse. I made it worse when I said, you know what I need to do? Write a book, right? What? I'm going to have all this extra time, right? No, I don't have extra time. And I'm sprinting to every meeting. I'm sometimes late. I don't care if it's 30 seconds late. I'm sometimes late to meetings. That's not like me. So I got to get my shit together.
It'll come. But I know, like I've told the team this, I'm like, guys, we're going to be a sprint until around the last week of July. And then it'll just calm down for about 2 weeks. And then it'll be a sprint till December 15th. And it's just how it goes every year. And this is, I thought we would have a little bit more time to breathe here, but you're right. It's like, nope, nothing. We're just going. And that's good. It's we're getting stuff done, I guess. So whatever, we'll take it. But.
Yeah. So, I mean, and here's what happens. Every time you do something good, people want more of it. So I got a call today from the director of the entrepreneurship program, right, at Trinity, where I teach.
Yeah.
Wanting more, right? It's like going, what was funny is that my first year there, they go, oh no, let's just keep you at one little course. And, you know, we don't want to give you any more. Dude, like 3 months later, they're like going, what about this course and this course, 5 more courses? And, oh, we want you to be a mentor in the accelerated program during the summer. It's 10 weeks. I'm like going, what? Hey, what happened to take it slow?
Exactly.
But I'm telling you, when you do things good, and when you have somebody that does something good in your life, you want more of it, right? It's just the way it happens. So I always feel like when I put good into the world, it always comes back to me, and I should not complain that there's opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's the thing. They know you're a superstar, so now they want you, and that doesn't surprise me at all.
Hey, I can talk like crazy. Right before this is the topic today. Right before this, I'm out in the yard, and neighbor Bob. We got a new neighbor, Bob. Neighbor Bob, Mozzie. All right, so if you guys don't know, I have a French bulldog named Mozzie. Not for Ozzy Osbourne, because he looks like a mozzarella stick when he was running around the yard. So I call him I call him Mozzie, right? Occasionally, I'll take Mozzie out in the front yard. It's like a little treat, oh my God, I don't have to be stuck here in the backyard. Yeah, what does he do to the new neighbor? I mean, within minutes, right? We go into the new neighbor's yard. Mozzie leaves his presence.
Oh,
right? I'm like, I guess we're not friends anymore. But it's one of those embarrassing moments for me. But that's where it came about. Is we're like going. Yeah. I have to go to this podcast. I don't have a topic, because if you've never heard Mike and Blaine before, you know that we don't have a topic until right before this thing goes on. And neighbor Jessica, by the way, right across the street, goes, you should talk about business cards. So apparently she's in her business doing something with business cards. So we went there, and then you wanted to expand it a little bit. I'm like, going, okay, I'll do that. So that's where we're at today. We're talking about the evolution of old to new, tradition or transition. That's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, and I love the topic because as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I've literally had conversations about that recently too. But then what I started to think about was it started to just bring me into other old school things that you and I did when we first started, when we were doing our sales and our networking, and how much has changed. And I'm like, you know what? Some of that still is there and super valid. And it's going to be, and if you're skipping some old school stuff, you're missing out, and vice versa. So it's like, let's dive into some of this old school stuff. We talk a lot about new school, marketing, network, all these different things, but I've got some things to share actually about some of this old school stuff that we've been doing. And so I'm going to dive into my beer because we're talking old school, and this is what's funny. Like, so we're heading north pretty soon. We're heading back to Canada pretty soon. And so I've been cleaning out our fridge, and I looked in the fridge and I'm like, well, the lightest can I have is 10%. So I'm like, well, I'll just, because they're all super heavy stouts, but this one just screamed old school. It's called Dutchman's Pipe Imperial Stout from Burgeon, I think Burgeon.
Burgeon?
It's like kind of backwards on my thing. It's hard to read in a mirror. Anyway, it's delicious stout, 10%. So Mikey might be carrying us by the end, but it just felt super old school. Nothing more old school than a Dutchman's Pipe. So I thought that was apropos. And since I only had two other options in the fridge, that's what we're getting today.
Oh my God. So, all right. So I went with a Mike Blaine beer, right? If you guys, I had somebody the other day tell me, I couldn't tell if you were talking about yourself or somebody else. So, because I didn't say Baltimore Mike, apparently we have to call him Baltimore Mike and not call him Mike Blaine, right? So people don't get confused. But now Blaine and I have a friend named Baltimore Mike.
Baltimore Mike, yeah.
That gave us both beers, right? So I'm going to use one of his beers, but you're going to know why I'm using his beer, right? It is a Heavy Seas beer.
Nice.
But it's called their Red Eclipse, right? So why? Because yesterday was the solar eclipse in totality here in Texas. So we're going to do that in honor of Baltimore Mike and all his craziness in Baltimore. So yeah. And Pat came down and says, hey, I got beer for you. I can bring beer down. I'm like, okay, well, I still got a couple from Baltimore Mike. So, we'll put it. So he doesn't want to be forgotten, right? He doesn't want to be forgotten. Okay. So we got Baltimore Mike, neighbor Pat, still in the mix. Yeah.
We got Larry Weinstein, best CPA in Texas, Houston. So if you, thanks again, Larry. Larry's going to be like, he re-upped till like mid-August. So that's super cool. So got Larry in there too.
Yeah, Larry, I got to tell you, I talk to Larry almost every day now. I mean, he is that close a friend. If anything, first of all, I've never had just a friend that will send Mozzie gifts. He'll send, just out of the blue, I'll get a random, like, here's a box of treats for Mozzie. I'm like going, are you kidding me? I mean, he is that thoughtful. He is that engaged. He is that willing to be part of our community. I mean, there's not enough good things I can say. If you need a CPA and you're in Texas or anywhere, because he's virtual, contact Larry Weinstein in Houston.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, last but definitely not least, Rachel Barnett.
But I'm going to let you do it. What do you think about Rachel?
Well, you usually just jump in, so I was just going to let you jump in. But no, Rachel Barnett. If you need to learn QuickBooks Online, which if you got a business and you got to do your bookkeeping, you got to keep everything straight. You want to know how to use the software. You don't want to just rely on somebody else to do it for you. Go talk with Rachel at gentlefrog.com. So Gentle Frog, and she'll get you set up. She's the expert.
All right. So I messed with you there. I apologize.
I can always jump in.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, you've heard me talk about her for like 6 months. I'm like, oh, he's got it. He knows Rachel.
I know it. I just didn't. I thought you always wanted to do it. The only time you ever in all of these,
I always like to do it.
The only time you've caught me off guard where I didn't have anything to say, because I can pretty much always talk, is the one day you got up and left to go, I think it went to the bathroom or something. You literally walked out of the room and I'm like, what the hell? And you caught me so far off guard that I'm just like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people listening got a real kick out of that day. So.
Neighbor Breger still brings it up, and it's because I didn't have one of these at the desk, right? Remember, yeah. I went to unscrew a top, and I couldn't unscrew the top, and I had to go get one. I'm like, going, shit, I don't want to go through this with no beer. Oh, and by the way, this is the 10%er, so we're going to do a double 10 today. It's like the double 10, so this is going to be messy.
Yeah. Oh, look, last week we both had some heavy ones, and man, we were both just in good shape and really cruising along by the end. So we'll see what happens. Well, stay tuned till the end, and we'll see where we get.
Yeah, neighbor Pat always says that I hit this peak, right? It's like I'm good, and then I'm like awesome, and then I'm not.
That's usually we got to finish her off.
So, well, very good. All right, so let's think about this, right? Because, all right, so let me explain. When you said old school things, mm-hmm. I had a conversation today in class, and we're talking about AI, augmented reality, those type of things. So I'm going to start with the future. And kids, right? I'll say kids, but students in class that are sophomores, juniors, seniors in college are like going, I'm afraid that there's too much AI. There's too much augmented reality. There's too much where I cannot get the social connectivity that I need, to do whatever. And I'm going to say, and here's where the argument came from. Let me ask you this and see what you think. I said, wouldn't it be awesome? Because I think this is what's going to happen. If I could be trained as a personal trainer by Arnold Schwarzenegger, where I'm wearing these glasses, he is yelling at me. He's making me do his workout. He's like doing whatever. Oh, lift that bar, whatever it is. Or I'm learning to sing from Whitney Houston, where she's there and she's coaching me through AI and through augmented reality. My teachers have become that, in my environment. That's where I went to with it. And they said, it's too much. It's too much in their life. And that's funny. The 50-year-old's like going, I would love that. They're saying, no, that's too much. What do you think?
I'm a little bit on their side with that because no, I get what you're saying there, but there's something that has come back in the last couple of years here where reality started to come back into the world. And I've realized how much I missed it and how much I appreciate it. So, and I think there's so much value to it. So in other words, it's like, do you want to learn from Arnold Schwarzenegger in a virtual thing? Or would you like to go down the street and learn from Joe? Like, you know what? I think I kind of want to go talk with Joe. Right. And some things that I think have happened that like this year, even more so than last winter is, we've been out to a lot of concerts, super small venues, really intimate. You're running into people, you're meeting people there and chatting with them. I was out like in Houston doing some business stuff. I was actually just literally last week, a client of mine invited me out to, was just another group of other people in business, have a drink, hang out. I got to meet a bunch of new people. And I got to tell you, it was so refreshing. And you just fall right back into that groove of getting to talk with people, getting to meet people. But here's where it circles all the way into what we're talking about today. Met some new people. They're really cool. And it's like, okay, we got to go and we're leaving. I'm like, oh, crap. And we're all like, no one had business cards. And so we're trying to like connect on the phone through LinkedIn. And then it's like, well, so-and-so's got all of our numbers and all of this. And you're like, okay. But I realized that I missed that interaction where it's not on Zoom, where it's like to 45 minutes to the second or an hour or half an hour and you're done. So yeah, we sat there for a couple hours. We chatted. We got to get off track and off topic and stuff. Ultra important, but that was that next old school thing. I didn't have any cards on me. I never even thought of them. I probably haven't had a card on me in years.
Man, I always buy 100 at a time. I throw them in my backpack because I can't give that up. I can't get that moment back. They're like going, hey, can we exchange? Hey, I got a card.
I've got them in the office here.
Yeah.
I never have them on me unless I got my bag, but I'm not the backpack type. I don't carry a bag unless my laptop has to be there. I don't have anything with me. I just forgot.
Yeah. See, I don't carry them on my person. I used to be the type of guy that would have the card holder. It was engraved. It was like had my initials on it. I'd pop it open, have my own card in it. You remember you used to get a job and like your first week, business cards would just show up. Yeah. like 1,000 of them, not just 100 like I'll buy now that I won't go through in a year, but 1,000 of them show up right off the bat.
Yeah. I remember in my agency days, the first day of any new staff member, it's like, all right, guess we're ordering the business cards, and we're getting them because we want them to be out. We want them talking with people, and we want them to have that point of contact so people will check us out. But it was also it was interesting because it was not just a sales or marketing tool. It was kind of a little bit of a business culture tool. Like, hey, you're part of the team. You now have cards. You have this little bit of an identity now, and you're part of our team, right? And that was a big part of it too, right?
Hey, you know what? That's an important thing that we don't talk about at all. I actually kept one of all my previous business cards for the longest time. I think the last time I moved, I might have lost them, but I kept them because it meant something to me, right? It was here's where I was, here's what I did, and here's my card, I don't know why I kept them, because there's no reason for me to keep them outside of the fact that it make me feel good.
I'm pretty sure
there was an emotional.
Yeah, I have them too.
Yeah, there's an emotional connection. Yeah.
It's nostalgic, right? It's nostalgic. Like,
yeah, right.
And it's more nostalgic than looking at like an old website where you can go on, because you can go on Wayback Machine, and you can go find a website from 20 years ago maybe not 20, but you see an old website, but it doesn't have that same, I don't think it has that same reaction to me as a business card. This is a little, it's nostalgic, right?
All right. So it's been a few years since I looked this up. So I'm probably way wrong when I say this, but I think the business card's origin was like from 14th century China.
Wow.
Right? Yep. And it was like the aristocrats, the people at the upper echelons of society would send their card. And they weren't called business cards. They were called visiting cards. They would send their card in advance of whatever visit they were going to have. Right. If they're going to be in your town, they're going to be in your place, whatever. And it was adopted by Europe, and it was still a visiting card where it was like, and that's where all the embossing and making them look pretty and all this came from, because it was an aristocratic thing. I was announcing myself before I actually showed up, that me and some details about me. And when it came over to America during the industrial age, it became a business card. Like, here's some details about me and my business. And it was because of the capitalistic nature of North America, right? We're just capitalistic. So, and that's where it evolved, which is funny, right? So it's a technology or a technique that's 500 years old or more.
Yeah. And, like when during my creative agency days, because it's a design firm, so you got to have something cool. That was our thought, something cool. You got to have an impact when you meet someone. They got to think your quality and all that stuff. So we would go, and it was always an excuse. We would go nuts on these business cards. So we would be those ones that would be like perfect typography, and we'd have like spot varnish, spot color, die cut, like everything you could think of to make these little special cards that are super fancy. And I remember the one time we went, nothing feels like more quality than you got a big, thick card. So we got like a 120-pound card, and it was so thick. We got the cards in, and they were gorgeous. Like, they were beautiful. It's just this like velvety matte with this little shiny spot varnish logo that was like debossed, and it was just so cool, right? They were beautiful. And I could fit like maybe two in my wallet because they were so thick. They were like thicker than a credit card. They're just these huge.
Yeah.
And the first time I went to put them on the wall, I'm like, oops. Well, that was stupid. Because then you're going places and just like, you have like one card in you or two cards. And I had those too, like the little card holder, the little metal thing, and it's opening. And you'd usually have like 8 or 10 cards, and I'd have like 3. They're so thick. And so like after that, we're like, yeah, lesson learned. Make them look nice. But yeah.
Yeah. There was a whole learning curve on these things. I mean, because I've seen business cards that would just flap in the breeze. They were so thin. All the way up to the metal ones. Have you seen the metal ones?
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody's handing you a metal card. The ones that piss me off are like the circle ones. like, I don't know why. Because normally when I'm collecting business cards, I'm at a trade show, I'm at an event, and I got a bunch of them, right? And I got a bunch of them. If you got a circle one, it just makes it hard to organize as part of it.
We like these cards that I got for dry run. Like you can see they're kind of like this, that they've got curved sides.
I got the same one. Yeah.
The back like that. Beautiful from, where they're from. Why did I just forget which company makes them? Beautiful cards, really inexpensive.
Probably Vistaprint.
No, it's not Vista. It's I'll think of it. I love the place. Beautiful cards. They feel terrific. They're substantial enough, but they're thin enough that you can fit them into things. But what was interesting with this company that I cannot remember, and I can tell you looking at it. So this is a bit of a matte varnish. So it's got a little bit more.
I went gloss.
So a little bit matte. But this company, oh man, I can't believe I can't remember the name of them. They do their cards. One of the things I love is the standard size of their cards is a 1/4 inch shorter than the norm. And I would always opt for the rounded corners. And the reason we did that, it goes all the way back to when I bought way too heavy, way too expensive cards. But cards would always get damaged, and you're throwing them out because they would get dog-eared in the corners, and they wouldn't fit in some of the places because they were always just a little bit too long. And I'm like, well, okay, if it doesn't fit into like the people, you remember we used to have these Rolodexes, and we used to have like binders full of cards with pages. And I'm like, if it doesn't fit in there, because I remember some people gave me a square one that didn't fit because it was too tall. Yeah, you chuck it, right? My rationale was I don't want a dog-eared, and I want to make sure that it's going to fit in things, and it's also going to fit in like wallets and things that we're carrying, and it's going to be easier to use, and it just stands out a little bit. It's not some really weird shape, but it just looks a little bit more custom. And so all that together, I thought was really a good sort of fit.
See, that's how I ended up with this. Now I went with the gloss just because it's shiny, right? But me evolving, I went ahead and added the QR code, right? So I'm trying to stay up with current technology, meaning, hey, let's do. And you know what? This isn't current technology. I was using this in the mid 2000s, like 2008, 2009. Yeah. I was putting it on the back of shirts, and it just didn't take off. It took until the last couple of years for that to be something.
Yeah, yeah. So where does it take people? Just to your website or to a forum or LinkedIn or what?
It just goes to the website right now. Like, because that's normally where you're going to go anyway. Like, what the hell is this Cashflow Mike? Mm-hmm. It just goes to the website. That way I could keep it evergreen. Because if you take it to a landing page, there's a certain point in time you change the landing page, and you archive it, you whatever. And,
you forget.
But if it's to your homepage, your main domain, it's evergreen no matter when they see it.
Yeah. I'm just thinking because I got so many old school. Oh, here's the. It's got a little logo on the front, but they don't even put their name on it, so I actually still don't know who makes these cards. But, I'm looking at some of the old school things we used to do. And like I've told you before, we would have stickers we'd bring to conferences, and we'd have like buttons, like this little Cash is King button. And we had like, at that time we'd have like Robots Can't and Before Shit Gets Real. That one, people would come up. It's like they're doing like hockey card collecting. Got the shit gets real one? You got that one? Yeah, we do. And people will be coming up to us looking for these stickers that probably cost us 15 cents. and they would be looking for these little buttons that would cost barely more than that. And we would be walking around the conference. You see people like buttons, you'd have stickers on their laptops. And then I'd look over and there'd be like, the guys over there in the booth can't give away golf shirts because nobody wants them. You know, at the end of the conference, when you have a booth there, everybody's walking around trying to give their shit to you. It's like, hey, would you like a t-shirt? Not really, right? But
Dude,
you know, but I got to know you over the last few days, so I'll take one of your shit.
I got four. One second. I got 4 different. Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I got 4 boxes of these awesome notebooks, the corkboard notebooks. And the thing is with these things is they were for a conference in the US for a Canadian company. You know how much it cost us to ship those suckers back?
Yep.
I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the thing. Nobody wants that stuff by the end. So like I would leave Vegas with like
it would just cost too much.
It
just cost too much.
Stuff. Yeah. I'm like, I don't want all this. I'll take a little bit. I'll take it home. And then it's like, well, it goes to Goodwill or something generally. But I don't even see the thing is I don't even think it was effective. And our cheap little things were effective. Like people wanted them and they would put them on. So other people would see them and they would be reminded of us. And I'm like, yeah, that's just cheap and it worked. Like,
yeah, but short-term effective, right? Got to be short-term. I mean, like a sticker, like a button. Exactly. You know, I actually have some of the cups. Like there's a guy that I'd never met before. He bought my course, came through, got certified, and then he told me, he says, hey, are you part of Cashflow Tool? I'm like, going, yeah. He goes, were you ever at like Scaling New Heights in like 2000, whatever it is, at this party called the Tabernacle or something like that? I'm like, yeah, I was the main sponsor of that thing with Neat Corporation. He goes, yeah. And he holds up our cup. And it's just a damn thermos cup, but it lit up. It was because we were hosting a party in a nightclub.
Oh yeah.
This cup had a button on the top. It's just a battery, and it flashed. It did crazy things, and it just created a vibe, an environment. I still have one. He still has one. I'm like going right there. You're like going, that probably was worth it. Because
some of the things
people kept that shit.
Yeah, some of the things I still have, not very much. Most of it's long gone. I don't know if I have it here, but I have an Intuit fidget spinner from when we were, top 10 with Intuit. So we were at events and that, but it lights up. You spin it, lights up, and it said some words. I can't remember. Like, this is neat, right? Here's like I still got some of these stickers around, like these. They just did really well. Yeah. It's just so the coolest one I got. I don't know where it is, but I got a little car because we were at some fancy car club hosted by Intuit, and they had all the supercars and everything there. And then each of us got a little model Ferrari with like dry run or our name or whatever written on the side. Like, well, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It's neat. So very rare that I would keep anything, but that one was really different and really personal. I'm like, frick, that's so cool, right? And but rare. Like, over how many conferences have I been at in the last 25 years? And I'm like, what I can name? Car's kind of neat, but it's not even on my shelf anymore. And that's almost all, right? So, but again, like we're going, I guess, a little bit off of business cards. We're going into this old school swag. Does it help? Does it do anything? Is it worth the money?
All right. So when we're thinking about what the return on investment would be, let's think about, can we model that in dry run?
Absolutely, you could. And thank you for that segue. So if you want to find out if business cards much bigger problems, much bigger opportunities in dry run, if you're looking for a way to understand where your business is headed or where your organization is headed, we talk with a lot of nonprofits these days as well. And the more complicated you are, the more you should come talk to us, because we can do even more help, like more carrying for you. So if you're looking for a way to forecast your cash flow, if you're looking for a way at weekly cash flow, if you need it, if you're looking for a way to build models, scenario models, and figure out What are we going to do as a business? How are we going to build through 24 and into 25? If you're looking to have multiple departments and locations, build budgets, roll them up, track them. We can do all of that. And I know it sounds scary, but it's actually really easy and really painless in Dry Run. So come and talk with us at dryrun.com and we'll get you set up and you can give it a try. See if it's a good fit for you.
Hey, and what I like about it is what you said is we can even do this weekly, which means should I buy those T-shirts, those golf shirts that I'm going to have to sit on forever and ever and ever? You can model the scenario. What if I get 10%? What if I get 20%? What if I get no sales from this conference? What is it going to do to my cash flow? And I'm not saying no sales is bad because sometimes awareness is good. What is it going to cost you though? Right? Knowing it ahead of time. So yeah, I think it's a great tool for this and that.
I got to tell you about one little bit of swag I did. Again, just like on the dime. How are we going to do this on the dime? And I found a place online. This is probably, I don't know how many years ago, where they had these mini playing cards and they were on sale. And they were like, maybe like $1 a pack. And they came in a little plastic case. Then I went to one of the online sticker places that had cheap stickers and I could design the packaging in a sticker. And so I got the stickers and I got these cards and then I put the labels on and it said, don't gamble with your cash flow. And then they were really cool. It looked like actual packaging for the cards where it was actually just a sticker I put over top of it that wrapped around the packaging. And they were so cool, but I was taking them to San Jose and I was going through security to get into the plane and I've got all my backpack, right? My carry-on. And I get pulled aside and the guy kind of like gives me this weird look. And then he starts running. He's, what's in the bag? And I'm like, oh, I've got these little mini playing cards. They're just like giveaways, right? And he goes and he scans and he has me open it up. And then he looked at every single, I can't remember how many, I might have had 100 of them. And he looked at every single pack and he looked at the side. Yeah, cards. Yeah, cards. And then when he let me go, he goes, well, when we first scanned it, it looked like just a bunch of blocks of C4. Like, oh shit, that's not good. That's not what I wanted to hear. I wonder if I have one of these. They were so fun. These little cards we had, and I found some the other day and I threw them in a bag. But they're that was a little bit of a shocker. But.
All right, so I'm going to say something super dumb. But what if you were the manufacturer of the cards? And you heard that story. Every time my people take these cards through scanners, it looks like C4. And they watermark the image somehow that it radiates not C4. Well, for all of not C4, not C4.
Just playing cards, exactly. Yeah, it's
just playing cards. Yeah. All right, so when you mention San Jose, I'm going to mention an old school technique. I'll call it not quite guerrilla, but somewhat guerrilla marketing that we spent $100 on. And it ended up in the end getting a little over $2 million in investment.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, get your attention.
Yep.
Here's the $100 spend. An orange vest, right? Think about an orange vest that looks like the same one that Michael, what's his name from Back to the Future?
Oh,
J. Fox. Michael J. Fox.
Yep.
Michael J. Fox wore,
Marty.
Right? So Marty McFly. So where they said, hey, are you in the Navy, right? Because it looks like it's the puffy orange vest,
yep.
Right? And then add to that, you know how some conferences have an app? It says, come to this event or whatever and engage in our app. And then in the app, they got this social feed. You can talk to other people. Dude, they've locked it down to where you can't do it now. But back in the day, I would scrape all of those attendees and I'd have all their information, everybody that was there. I didn't have to go around and look and scan and collect business cards. If you're at this thing, I could get it from your app.
Yeah.
All right. So at that point in time, we just flooded the feed with, hey, find the guy in the orange vest for $100,000. That was it. Find a guy in an orange vest for $100,000. Find a guy in an orange vest for $100,000. I bought cases of $100,000 candy bars. But it made you come talk to me, right?
Yep.
What I didn't realize, it was going to be 95 degrees in San Jose during this event. And I'm in this hot ass. I mean, just absolutely. It's like a winter coat. I'm wearing this. I'm sweating crazy, trying not to have the $100,000 bars in my pockets melt. But people come up, I give them $100,000 and tell them about our business, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that's what happened. At the end of the day, I'm sitting in the line for free drinks because I'm hot. I've been sweating all day, chucking out these things. And the guy behind me says, "All right, tell me the deal here. Why are you wearing that vest and sweating like this today? Nobody wears this vest in California." I'm going, "Yeah, I didn't think that through." I just really didn't think about it that much. I said, and I told him about it. That was the guy that became our main point of contact for Moody's Analytics that got the investment into,
Nice.
Finnegraph.
Yeah. Nice.
Isn't that funny how that one vest and a box of chocolates, pretty much got us $2 million.
That's well, okay, but crazy. But this reminds me of the Toyota story, where there's a radio station that said, "Hey, you can phone in, and if you're the winner, you win a Toyota." And then when the winner finally showed up, it was a toy Yoda, like a toy Yoda doll from Star Wars. and I'm pretty sure, if I remember the story right, she sued and she won and they had to give her a car. So it makes me kind of like, well, your $100,000 could have cost you.
Yeah, but I said it exactly the same as it's on the package of the candy bar. You get $100,000. That would have been harder. Toyota and Toyota would have been spelled differently.
Yeah.
Right. Because I never said it over the radio. I put it in print.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably rare it would happen, but I just remember that story of the Toyota and thought, oh yeah, I guess you can't mess around too much with this stuff. people get a little ornery then.
All right. So think about this. When I thought about this topic, I'm like going, there's a lot of times when I wish I had a business card on me. Mm-hmm. And we miss it, but we always have our phone on us, but nobody's really using this. Remember there was a company that had tap, or there was where you could tap phones. Yeah. It didn't work, right? It didn't work.
The only one that I've used, and I actually used it the other day, was when you go into the LinkedIn app and you click on the search field and there's a button and you can bring up the QR code. Someone can scan the QR code, click to connect. So it just makes it easy, much easier, but it's still kind of a pain in the ass and it still isn't that smooth. So I still don't think there's a great way to do that, right?
But it can't do 6 people at a time.
No.
Like I'm in a circle of guys, we just had a shot of whiskey or whatever at the bar and say, "Hey, here's my card." Remember how easy that was? It's
so much easier than scan my phone. Everybody scan my phone. I guess I've actually done that before, though. It's like everyone scan the phone. But then they're popped into LinkedIn, and then you got to go and find them in the list. And LinkedIn's kind of got its own set of, I think there's still room for that, and I think there's a lot of room for getting out into public, and it doesn't have to be. I think that's what I like about some of the things where it doesn't have to be a meeting that's scheduled. Everything on Zoom is a scheduled meeting, right? You can go to a thing, you can go meet people, and you can hang out for a couple hours, and it's I find it, of course, way more enjoyable, but it's when you start building relationship, and it's a little bit different, longer term often, but a longer term build relationships that can lead to something much bigger, I think.
Well, I think that's what I was talking about today in class, which was think about where you're at. If you don't want Arnold Schwarzenegger in a hologram yelling at you, and maybe you aren't used to Joe yet, right? Joe was your guy, which is, there's a gap. There's something there. That's where innovation happens. That's where we need to focus as an entrepreneur is, okay, how do I bridge that gap either with my current product or a new product?
Well, and also where's the gap where technology and global makes sense, and where's the gap where hyper local and personal and in person makes sense? Because I think people need both, right? Like there's some stuff. It's like I can't fly across the world and be everywhere all the time just to meet somebody and talk with them, but you need that low tech personal contact, relationship building. It feels like it's kind of like a lot of things today. It feels like they're extremes. There doesn't seem to be much of a middle ground. It's either small, like it's really in person and personal and everything else, and or it's like online and digital. Like of course, we love music. We got YouTube on all the time with concerts and music going all the time, and it's awesome for what it is because you get to see so much more. You couldn't see that 20 years ago. You can just pick your favorite band, even if it's a small band, and watch them. But we're going to Black Rose tomorrow night. That's going to be 1,000 times better than anything you can get on YouTube, right?
Oh, absolutely. Every time you go to a concert, they put on a show. They're entertainers. It's like coming to I'll use me, Cashflow Mike's video or Cashflow Mike's live in-person seminar. Totally different experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, when we think about what should happen, is it a handshake where we can exchange information? I mean, how do I really now how do I replace the business card?
Well, I guess like the other thing is do you like, is it the place, like until there's something that actually works better? Because like you said, everybody has a phone on them now.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that is not a huge pain in the ass. There's nothing easy and that works on all phones for everybody all the time.
Well, because of security, right? Like you don't want somebody to just tap your phone and take your shit.
Yeah.
Right. You know, like I can understand why it's not that way. Mm-hmm. But there has to be an easy way. And I don't know of a better way than the business card. The thing is, like you said, they're never around. They're never here. They're never the right thing, right place, right time.
You got it. Like I have to start carrying them again a little bit, right?
I'm going to, yeah.
Yeah. I know when I was in Houston a few weeks ago, I literally dug through all my bags and everything and then found my little metal business card holder and I put my little cards in there and went there going, well, at least I can give it to them. And hopefully other people are carrying cards. And, a lot of people were just old school people coming back with their cards again, right?
I think I should have at least 10 in my pocket at any given time. If I'm not every time, like I go to the, restaurant or something like that. I'm saying if I go to a business event, I think I should have at least 10 cards.
Yeah, for sure.
It shouldn't be that hard.
No. And, interesting thing, this group I met with last week, the topic came up around like people have had Zoom fatigue and video conference fatigue, right? Now we're on it all the time. Like you and I are on it, but I'm on it for work all the time. And we haven't got to that point because we're just used to it. It's like sitting in the office next to somebody. We don't even think about it, right? But this entire group, for the most part, had tried to move back to phone calls for everything. I thought that was interesting. The first time I heard that they're just like, people just have to phone me. I'm not going on Zoom. And in context, of course, like it depends what it's for, but I was a little surprised by that.
I tell you what, Larry and I call. Like all my real friends, we just call a lot of times. I mean, we even FaceTime. I'm even more of a FaceTime guy than I used to be. Why? Because I think I like Zoom now. I didn't like Zoom 10 years ago. I'm like, oh, no, that's weird. I don't want to see you when you're doing whatever you're doing. Now I'm like going, dude, why are you not FaceTiming? What are you doing? I know that's a weird question, but what are you doing? How come you can't FaceTime?
Yeah.
But I still like the phone call. because it's quick, it's easy. I get exactly what I want. You know exactly my intention, my tone, everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I heard the college kid today go, it takes away the sociability, the connectivity of all of us. I'm like going, wow, because that is not where societies went. And I'm hearing it in the colleges now. I need to connect more with people.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that from younger people as well. That it's because we grew up in a totally different time. Right. And I've heard that it's like, yeah, you go to college and it's like you're because everyone was online, you go to the gym and everyone's plugged in, and everywhere it's like walls up and nobody just sort of sits and chats and meets no one meets. I don't think anyone just kind of goes to the pub and meets at the bar anymore. Like it's, I shouldn't say ever, but like it's changed. Like, how do you nurture those things? And I think a lot of it is just get out of the house. It just takes a bit of effort. Get out of the house and get out in public, right?
Yeah, but I think they're wanting that now, right? They realize that I can't touch you, even if it's just pat you on the shoulder, hey, good job. Even if it's shake your hand, even if it's give you a hug, if I really am proud of you, you cannot get that without another person. That connectivity is so important in all our lives.
And there's more. They always talk about water cooler talk. There's more BS. There's more. Like I said, it's not scheduled with an agenda. Like online stuff tends to be scheduled with an agenda. Now, I have had the odd time where like I have virtual beer with a friend that's on the other side of the country or whatever. And you kind of sit there and you have a beer and you just BS. And it's really nice, but it's not the same as sitting on my deck with a friend. This just never is, right? It's and they're never as long. Like you sit on the deck and it's like, man, you can burn through 3 hours without even thinking about it. But you're on Zoom. It's like, yeah, you got a limited time. You can manage this, right? So.
All right. So what about this? What do you call this? I always look at this as my virtual happy hour. You think this would be a 5-hour conversation?
If we were sitting on the patio, we'd be drinking all night and hanging out all night. Yeah. Easily. It would be. Yeah. It's a different feel. And I missed, I didn't realize how much I missed it because, it's, and increasingly we're doing more and more out and about and in public, like not in public, but like getting off our ass, basically getting the energy to go out and do things. Right.
Here's something that's really weird. I just thought about. I have 2 virtual relationships that are enduring. Baltimore, Mike Blaine and I were virtual relationship. And in MySpace times that endured to now, we've only seen each other, I'm going to say less than 10 times, face to face, shook hands, did anything. But I feel closer to him than other people, than a lot of other people. You're the same way. We've seen each other, what, 3?
Couple of times.
3 times?
A few times.
Yeah, 2-3 times?
Yeah. In person, yeah. But I don't know. There's no one else that I'm on like every week just to kind of be like this, right? Which is awesome.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy though? So is it really meaning that this is what I'm going to use push back on the student next week? I know that's weird. You could be a hologram and I could just be talking to you like this. And would I really ever know the difference if we've only ever seen each other twice or 3 times?
Well, I'm convinced that the holograms are not going to come up with the stupidity we do.
Okay. All right. I figured that out. Yeah. I figured that out. Yeah. Because I already know that's going to happen because I've tried to make it be stupid and it will not. It will do everything not to be stupid.
Ask ChatGPT what it thinks of 3 channels in a VHS. Not going to,
Does it have an opinion?
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's not going to be like it hasn't ChatGPT hasn't experienced 3 channels and one of them's fuzzy.
Yeah.
And the first VHS, right?
Or having your dad tell you you're the remote control.
Oh man.
Go change channel. Click, click, click. I'm changing the channel while he determines what he wants to watch.
Yeah, out of 3 channels. You know what's on there. It's the same shit. There's nothing new.
Oh, that's just funny. Dude, I'm telling you that I still think that old school techniques like we know, the business card, the meeting, the handshake, the hug, the bullshit still is relevant in business success today.
Absolutely. More than relevant. And it depends what type of business you're in. It could be the difference between winning and losing, but there's relevance for every single business. I don't think you can develop relationships, and you'll miss opportunities, I think, if you're not taking some of your time and meeting with people in person. And other entrepreneurs, we always say it over and over again, meet with other entrepreneurs, go have a drink with them, or dinner or lunch with. There's too much that you can get out of that. And it is a weird world. Like I like a lot of stuff. I've gone back to super old school. Like like a vinyl, listening to vinyl records back here. But I get in my car and Spotify hooks up and goes to one of our playlists with 1,000 some songs. I just installed a dash cam yesterday, just because I thought it was kind of neat. We could use it on the way home, and you can talk to it and all this stuff. Like, Frank, this is like, so I end up either on the, like over here, like the bleeding edge of technology, and then just like the oldest, little mechanical watch and vinyl record and a pocket knife. And all these things, I'm like, I love this really old school. I don't know if there's much in between. It's like, I've got this traditional stuff that I think is important, but boy, I sure as hell don't shy away from the bleeding edge of anything. Right.
Well, what's funny is that I still wish I had my cassette collection or my CD collection. I just don't. And that's the biggest regret I have, is I gave up all of that investment. And some of the stuff that I've had on a cassette, I cannot get on Spotify, or, we lost a whole subsection of music when we went to streaming.
Yeah. I couldn't even tell you, because I know at one time I couldn't tell you how many thousands of albums, CDs and that. And I had CDs, but then I had, and they were ripped. Like I probably had a couple hundred, 300 physical CDs. And then I had cassettes, and I started, my vinyl was my first music. That's what I got, was vinyl. And then I digitized everything, and I don't know where any of that is. And so now that's the thing. I'm on Spotify. It's like, if it's not on Spotify or back here on vinyl, I probably can't listen to it. And it is a shame, because there's a lot of stuff that, like you said, it's just not on Spotify, and it'd be nice to listen to, but I can't even remember what it is anymore.
Right. Well, anyway, hey, with that, here's something you can remember. You can remember to watch all 137 episodes of Mike and Blaine. You can do it on YouTube. You can go to mikeandblaine.com. You can go to Apple. You can go to Google. You can go to wherever you like your podcast. You can get it. You like us, subscribe to us. And guess what? We're growing. We're growing because of Blaine Birch.
And Mike Mylan.
No, you're shorts, man. You were the one producing shorts, and these things are getting thousands upon thousands of views. It's
pretty crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy how many views our shorts are getting, and it's getting more signups, more followers, more of this, more of that. So that's super fun, and I think people get a kick out of our shorts because, it's just some snippet of something dumb, generally. So,
yeah, right on. Hey, I appreciate you. Another great week. We're going to see you again in 2 days, and then you're going to drive home safely.
Yes, and you're going to go to New York and win.
Hey, speaking of, if you haven't went to zoneofgenius.com/award finalist 24, vote for Mike Mylan, because I have to win this thing.
Yep. Go vote. And you can vote more than once. You can vote every day, which I didn't know until just recently. So I've been voting. You guys need to too. So I got a bookmarked right up here on my bar here. So make sure you go do that.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, right. I'm going to go. I'm going to present well. And you know what? Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you as well, man. This has been super fun. And we'll see you in 2 days. All right. Thanks, everybody.
2 days.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.